this was the first one that we produced for the album. And there was a lot of fun things that I got to do with this one. I will, again, after these little interviews, you'll see the screen flip over to the DAW that I run, so you can just see all the stuff I do on there. But yeah, that was a lot of fun production things I got to do with that one. But what was the story behind that one?
So the fishing song, that was also something that kind of started as like a poem, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few years ago, I was at work and I was just thinking, like, if I were to write a country song, and I wasn't even into songwriting at the time, like, what would it be like? And I had the idea of a song about, like, just wanting to leave work for the day to go fishing, but, like, I wanted to put a lot of clever wordplay in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote, like, a verse and a chorus, kind of laughed at it and kept it in my notes app for years. And then in the same phase of, like, oh, I'm going to start playing open mics, I should write songs. One day I also fell down the stairs and, like, really hurt my ankle, so I was, like, laying on the couch all day with just my ukulele right before my first open mic. So I'm like, I should probably, like, do something with this time. That was, like, unnecessary information. But it shows that, like, I had nothing to do. And then I was like, well, I have this written. I should find a good melody. I was able to find a melody and then wrote the second verse, rewrote the last verse. So it's just supposed to be, like, a clever kind of comedy song about, like, don't actually ditch your job. But, like, if you were to, and go fishing for a day. Like, there's more important things than money. Like just go enjoy fishing. And people think it's funny. A lot of people relate to it because, like, everyone likes to be outside and some people like to fish, things like that. So, and it's funny just because, like, I didn't really have, like, a standout line for the title, but I always just called it the fishing song, like, in my Google Docs. And then I was like, well, it's simple. It makes sense. It gets the message across. Like, this is the fishing song.
And I like that there are titles sometimes that aren't in the words.
Yeah, that's what I like.
So that was cool. But one thing about that, I sang harmony on this one. I had trouble because the lyric is, I believe, tying hooks. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
For the longest time, I said tiny hooks. And so I had to go back and re-record the harmonies. Yes. I had to go back and re-record the harmony several times. I was like, it's tying, not
because I remember hearing him do it for a while, and I'm thinking, he's not saying tiny, right? And then I realized that's what you were saying. And I was like,
you're not saying it right.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. It's not tiny.
Oh, yeah.
But
and also, that's a good message for you songwriters out there. If you ever want to write a song, go fall down the stairs. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of
it's that simple.
Just fall down the stairs. Want to write a good song? I mean, hey, the song was kind of already there, but I was like, well, I don't know. Not that was a big part of it, but I just remember, like, I was pet sitting for someone too, and I was just, like, laying on some, like, random person's couch with a bag of ice on my foot, like, laying on the couch with their dogs, just, like, writing this on the ukulele. It was a very enlightening experience.
So you're saying once you have a song partially written, then go fall down the stairs for extra inspiration. Okay. Now we're making sense.
Like, people ask me, how do you write your song so well? Well, if I'm having trouble, I just fall down the stairs, and it just like shakes up some things in my mind, and I'm able to finish it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I mean, I was probably dropped as a baby, which is what started the first inspiration, and then I just continually injure myself for further inspiration.
Yes.
This was the first song we produced for the album, as we mentioned earlier. Some fun stuff in here that we're definitely going to get to. Let's go ahead and start listening to this. Starts off just vocal and a beach wave sample that I got, a free beach wave sample. In a second, you'll hear on the right, I believe. There it is. It's a song about going fishing, so the beach theme fit.
If I don't wanna grind?
Just her and ukulele to start off.
Catch another 9 to 5.
Pretty simplistic, this song. And then once we hit in the chorus, my harmony is double tracked.
My fishing pole just called my name.
I'm just gonna isolate this vocal here.
I'm sitting in the sun just basking, when I could make a couple Jacksons. Tying hooks, what am I thinking?
Makes for a nice simple sound, but the chorus is elevated because of the harmonies here. I think is this the one where the ukulele is plain? I don't know. Yes, the ukulele is plain here, just compressed slightly. That's it. I wanted to make the ukulele, since there are a lot of them, sound different. So that's why in some of them I have a plug-in, and in others I decided not to have a plug-in there. Let's back up a little bit. My harmony comes in the second verse a little bit.
While really I'm just on the lake.
It does a nice job elevating
Sitting in the sun just basking.
elevating her vocals and
And I
not
could
taking away from
make
her,
a couple
which
Jacksons.
I've stated this before is the point of harmony vocals.
What
In
am
this
I
case,
thinking?
when you're dealing with a more simple
I
arrangement.
could earn another Lincoln.
Kind of, I'm not gonna say,
But I'll
pause for a
get
second.
on.
I'm not gonna say burying the harmony, but tucking it underneath the vocal is what I'm doing. And I feel like we did a pretty good job of that.
Without George just fine.
There's something really cool I'm gonna just go and skip to.
Don't
Don't get to the last chorus.
I'm sitting in the sun just
Last chorus is
basking.
just her.
When I could make a couple Jacksons. Tying hooks, what am I thinking? When I could earn another Lincoln. But I'll get on without George just fine.
I like the... So there was a lot of clever wordplay in this song, going back to the lyrical content here when she's saying earn another Lincoln, make another Jackson. Those are referring to dollar bills, I'm pretty sure. Y'all probably caught that, but just in case you didn't, there's a little Easter egg for y'all.
There's more to life than vacation time.
I come in the very last part.
Reeling in another line.
Here comes the best part right here. Okay, let's go and back up. Let's go through all the effects that are in this seagull sound here. So that is her. The seagull sound is her with a distortion plugin that is masking the fact that's her. So if I bypass this, what's crazy, this still sounds like her regardless. Like, she made that sound. We've discussed this before. If you watched my first video of mixing this song, none of y'all did, but it's out there. It sounds like her.
Vacation. Another.
Let's listen to it. Yeah, that sounded very much like her already. So I didn't have to do much. I just added a distortion plugin just to...
What if I
Oh,
don't
jeez.
wanna grind?
Pop-ups. This video is not sponsored, and after this, definitely ain't gonna be sponsored. Yeah, so that was pretty simple. And then, of course, just the overall mastering tools that I've talked about before, but we're just gonna get into it just so we can
5.
hear and listen to the
Cut
differences
lines of
here.
corporate games.
Not really
My fishing
too
pole
much
just called my
involved.
name.
Just a compressor,
Sitting in the
EQ,
sun just basking.
another compressor, another EQ, and then a limiter, just to make the volume bigger and just so everything's more even for streaming purposes. We don't want some songs way louder than others. I mean, it depends on the genre, but since these are all similar country folk acoustic styles, we generally wanted all those to sound the same. Man, but when she did,
What am I thinking?
because we were talking about this, and we already mentioned in the video before this the tying hooks, because for the longest time when I was recording the harmony part, I would say tiny hooks. And I almost thought about leaving it because nobody could tell, but I went back and fixed it. But yeah, that's basically the first song we ever recorded, and it was a pretty good one. Fun one to mix. Pretty simple, pretty bare bones, and we liked it like that. Go stream Tropes of Life. It's out on all platforms.